Welcome and hello, dear listeners, training participants, and Maxilla Virtual Academy fans. I'm very happy to present to you Max Meets today, our interview series where we talk with experts from the solar industry. And today we are covering the topic Solar is the Future for me as well. So, this interview is brought to you by the Max Online Academy team to help those of you who are right now questioning themselves if the solar industry could be their way to go. And maybe you also ask yourself, how can I start a career in the industry? What are things I should do before starting? What do I need to learn? What skills do I need? You can see a lot of questions. But here we are. Don't worry, we keep you covered. So this interview is for you. I invited one of our trainers, Johann Fritz, who before he became a trainer here at the Max Online Academy, started his own solar career in South Africa. So thank you, Johann, for taking your time out of your busy schedule and doing that interview with me. Please introduce yourself shortly.
Hi everyone. As Christine said, my name is Johan Fritz. Originally born in Pretoria, South Africa. Immigrated to Germany about 2.5 years ago, where I live in a small town, Georgenthal, near Erfurt in Thuringia. And I'm currently here working at Max Solar as one of the trainers for Max Academy.
Thank you, Johan. That is it's a nice way to see that people from all over the world, working in this wonderful online academy and in the solar field. That's so cool. I really love that. So for those of you, for audience and participants who don't participate in the basic course or in our introductory course, I would like to give you a really short, quick overview about the solar industry and job possibilities that are there. So let me share my screen with you who were not able to participate in one of our courses yet. I would like to really give you a brief idea of module 10, which is covering the topic solar is the future and the topic of what kind of jobs do exist, how you can really, get an idea where you can work, what you can do. So let's jump right in. There are different roles and jobs existing in the PV industry. Any idea, maybe? So the first tip I would give you is really just check yourself what you could find out. We're like doing a research on Google, what jobs do exist, and let's just inspire yourself that what is out there. Doesn't mean you have to go for it, but just get inspired and see where your, gut feeling turns you to. And I can highly recommend this website I would like to show, and I hope it works. Where you can see many different areas where you can work in the PV industry, like manufacturing, system design, project development, installation, and operations. So there you have like a basic way to choose if you're more a manufacturing person who likes to create things, you like, to do all the manual and head work and the system design. It's a very interesting field. Then the project development, always needed in any occasion, and installation and operations, so you're more in the field. And I hope I can show you my screen. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you see the website?
Yes.
So this is the wonderful website. It's called IREX Solar Career Map. And it's a pretty nice thing. As you can see here on the left, you have again the manufacturing, the system design, the project development, and the installation. When you click on that, it opens a lot of topics and job positions that you can, research on. You can click on them, you can find out more about them, and really get an idea of what does it mean to be part of solar manufacturing or system design. What does it mean? You can become a software engineer or you are an IT specialist. So as you can see, solar is not like you have to study solar or renewable energy, but you can be an IT specialist and still work in solar. So I highly recommend this website. You also have here the entry, the mid-level, and the advanced one. And just for example, if you start in installation and operation, and then you can click here, and there you have the solar assembler or basic installer. And from there you can see how your career path can evolve, which I think is amazing. So it does not mean if you start with installation and operation, your career starts here. You're not, you don't have to stay in this one field. You can also jump into other fields like system design and do the next step in your career path. And then you follow this path. And from there, you can stay in this row or also, change again. I don't say you should do that, but I just want to show you there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of ways to go. You're never, you have to stick to one path. You can also evolve in time, during time, to other paths and to other levels, and of course to other areas, which I think is very, very great and amazing, because not many jobs and job fields have this opportunity. So let's jump back to
That's actually very useful, Christine, because one doesn't always know all the different opportunities and options. So that's nice to see
yeah,
the different.
yeah. And I would really recommend it because for me, for example, I would love to have this when I was, a young student or from the school. I would love if somebody says, "Hey, look at this. You can start here, but you're not then in this rough, how you say, in this shell, and you have to stay on that track, but you are also able to evolve and go on, and there are other opportunities." So it does not mean, for example, if you did a decision that seems to be wrong in your career, like, I don't know, you studied history and now you're like, oh, what can I do? You still can, move and do other things. For example, you studied history, but you also interested in project development and you're really good at that, and then you can start your career from here, for example. And then, as you can see, there are a lot of opportunities to how move on. And I think really, I highly recommend this website. It's also from Johan, who sent it to me, and I really, really loved it. And that's why I want to share it with you. But let me go back to the show, not the show, the
Presentation.
presentation.
Mhm.
Yeah. 1 second. The presentation is really tricky. No, no.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh
No,
yeah, it was there.
it
Okay,
was
because
there.
I did not see it. Okay, that's good.
Yep. No,
No,
no, it's
yes.
gone.
Why?
There we go. There it's gone.
Wait, wait, wait. I know now where it is. I have it.
Okay.
Okay. So, mhm. So, but one recommendation I would do is also to give you an idea of what kind of market segments you can choose from. So now you saw the different job types like system design and installation, but there are also market segments where you can concentrate on. For example, we have the residential, the commercial and industrial, and the independent power producers. So I think Johan will give in a minute more insight on the residential market segment to give you an idea what does that mean, what kind of job is behind that word. Because for me, I'm also not from the solar, I don't have that solar background. For me, it's also, I don't know really what was behind it before I started. So I think it's really nice that Johan will give us some insights on that in a second. And then just quickly, I want to show you what the Max Academy is covering. So if you want to pursue a career in system design, installation and operation, and project development, we we offer courses in this fields. We have the experts here. Of course, we have also good networkings to the academics and the manufacturing field, but these are more people like today we will invite as interview partners and not really as we don't cover it in our academy program. But if you're going for one of these installation, operation, system design, project development areas, we have your back, we have you covered. So thank you. Thank you for listening. And now let's jump into the residential field. So, Johan, um, let me start the question. I think your career path is also very interesting because it's not so linear. And you started with IT and now you ended up in the solar industry. So, how did that happen?
That's right. I studied IT, Microsoft development, and computer programming, and I did that for 10 years after leaving school.
Mm,
But I wasn't that interested in it anymore. Yeah, I became quite bored with being a computer programmer,
mhm,
and looked for a new challenge, something that's more exciting and more meaningful. And yeah, I had a look at solar, and that interested me a lot. Yeah, so I saw that there's a big need for it
mhm,
on the environmental side that we need to change, and I'd like to contribute to that. And it's also quite nice that people can become more independent. They can be totally off grid and make their own electricity totally independent from the grid and from the state. So that excited me as well.
So you would say the situation that you were also facing in South Africa was, motivating you to choose this career path and got interested at least as a first step in solar. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. South Africa, the grid being very unreliable and
Johan, I can't hear you and you're frozen. Are you back?
there we go. Yeah.
You were frozen for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Was it my PC or
I think the
no?
internet connection wasn't
Okay.
good.
So
Mm.
I would say we were, I, let's ask again. This is the South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason you choose or the reason you got interested in solar was also because of the situation that you faced every day in South Africa. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. South Africa, the electricity grid is very unreliable there, and they're becoming very inexpensive, and unfortunately also a lot of corruption.
Oh.
So if people are able to do their own thing and become more independent, yeah, and also the 90% of electricity is generated by coal in South Africa. So a lot of greenhouse gases and very dirty electricity. So
Mm,
being
mhm,
able to replace that with solar energy and become more independent, that's a win for the environment and for the person that installs it.
mhm, mhm.
Mm.
I think that's very interesting because my motivation to work in the field of renewable or solar energy is quite the same because I think it's a very it's a very positive field to work in, very innovative, but also you have the feeling of doing something good for the environment and for people in general. Yeah. Yeah, so I totally agree. Um, so, Johan, how did it start then? I mean, how did you know now? So you were like you said, more than 10 years IT, and then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I want to start in solar. But how did you start it then? Did you do research or did you just apply for courses or uh, how was your first steps to find your way on how I can now make a transition from IT to solar? Because from the outside it's not really for me at least, not really well connected.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Yeah, that was about 6 years ago now. So I just started reading everything I can about it, attending all the trade shows about solar, all the training from the manufacturers, and also I looked around for actual training from companies and found Max Solar actually back then. And I was one of the very first trailers, first student of Max Solar.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
wow.
that helped quite a lot, getting me started, and because it was totally new for me, and I didn't
Mhm.
know anything, so that helped quite a lot to introduce me to the basics and things. Yeah, that I would have struggled to learn on my own or made mistakes, and just
Mm.
yeah, not to make that.
So you would also say, but you really started also investing in yourself and in your career. So I guess because some courses are probably free, but some, of course, are also have uh, a cost factor. But you said you would invest in yourself and in your career path, right?
That's right, yeah. So a lot of time went into doing research and attending trade shows and courses, and also then yeah, investing in training for myself.
Hmm. Mm.
Yeah.
And how did you do that still while working? So would you say like the first, let's say the first 2 years, you did it on the side, starting the research, starting to get an idea on how to start your career, where to start your career, or did you like cut off the IT and then really like focus 100% just on solar?
It was about 2, 3 years transition where I
Hmm.
still continued with the IT, also doing training there and development still, and then slowly moving over to solar full time.
Hmm.
Mm.
And what was your biggest hurdle in this transition time? And what would you tell other people to prevent these hurdles or failures? I would not call anything a failure because I think it's
Yeah,
every time a learning experience.
yeah, yeah.
So what was your hurdle first?
I think doing your first installation on your own, you don't know that much yet, and it's all quite scary and you all unknown. So
Mm,
just getting over that unknown factor, and the more you do it, it just becomes second nature, and the fear just goes away, and it's just yeah, you know what you're doing eventually, and yeah, there's no more problems.
mhm. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, this is quite, I would say it with every job. When you
Mm,
have your
mm,
first days, even if it's just in a company at a desk, you're still nervous if you're doing the right things, if you're saying the right things, if
yeah.
know you want to do your job well, and then you're like really nervous. So I can totally agree. But I think in solar, you also, of course, have not a possibility, a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
in terms of it's electricity still.
Mm,
So it can be dangerous, not always, and it's not like for 100%, but you have to do your job well to make
mm,
the
mm.
systems work for a long
That's right.
time. No, so you have this customer relationship which also needs
Mm.
to, yeah. So what would you say were the skills you really did not have at the beginning next to the installation part, mm, like the
Yeah, so it
technical.
was the technical skills and the organization skills to be able to, yeah, organize everything, make sure all the workers is on site and all the materials are on site and it's all on time, and you're organized with the customer that he knows you're coming, and everything's ready, and yeah.
So you would also
Uh,
agree that soft skills are
yeah,
really needed. Yeah, and
that's
being
right. Yeah, yeah.
so what I often think, maybe you agree, I would love to hear
Mm,
that, is that sometimes it does not really matter what kind of hard skills you have in your background, but it's good to also sometimes evaluate what kind of soft skills you already have. So for people who come from school or university, for example, often they are like, I have a lot of theory knowledge now, but I don't really know if I can do it, or I don't know my skills or stuff. And I think it's sometimes really good to be like, yeah, but you already have probably more soft skills. which are of high value for your career than you think of. For example, as you said right now, organization. If you're in a school and you organized, I don't know how it's in South Africa or in other schools in the world, but often there are team things or things where a person has to be this, how you say, the speaker of the class. So he has to organize, or she has to organize things. So you
Yeah.
have these skills, but we are not aware. Was it with you the same, that you were like, oh, this skill I never thought I will, I never was aware that I learned this through sports or through, organizing a team or a family or whatever.
Yeah, so there's definitely other skills that was transferable. For example, accounting. That just came. That's exactly the same in every business. And some of the IT skills was also important, building the website and getting marketing and so on. Yeah, and then some sales skills as well.
Hmm.
Being able to sell your services to other companies and to the customers and so on. Yeah, so there's a lot of skills that can be transferred from other industries or from your previous job just to the solar industry as well.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would agree. And I would always recommend to really take a time, step back, write down, and then, be creative and think of what could fit and where you could make use of it. Like you said, management, marketing, web design, websites, sales, it's all connected.
That's
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And so my next question would be, Johan, what market segment did you choose and
Mhm.
why did you choose that?
I Yeah, I chose the residential sector.
Hmm.
I think it's got a lower barrier of entry.
Hmm.
So I joined another installation company and did installations with them, and got practical experience that way
Hmm.
on the roof and in the distribution board and electricity and so on. So I learned a lot from that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but the residential market, they're a little bit more forgiving on the requirements and so forth. So yeah, initially I think that's the easier way to enter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So because there are more people in that sector operating, so where you could start working with or be an employee first before you then started your own company, so to say. Hmm.
That's right, yeah. So
Mm.
join them and do installations for them and with them and
Mm. Would
yeah.
you recommend that to young people or to, everybody? I mean, not only young, maybe somebody like you who had a 10-year career in his back. Should he or she really, go to the field, hands-on job?
I think that's the best way to start
Hmm.
because then you know how it actually works.
Hmm.
You know how many panels can fit and how it fits and how the roof works, and you can explain everything much better to the customer. You can sell it much better. You can plan it much better if you've got practical physical experience on the roof and in the distribution board and so forth. So that technical, practical experience, yeah, nothing can beat that. You can learn a lot from the training and from books and so forth, but one have to get that practical on the ground experience as well.
Yeah. And of course, probably the best would be to choose a good installation company or a good that doesn't matter if installation or other manufacturing, whatever way you choose,
Mm,
then to look for them and apply and try to get, the experience. Hmm.
that's right.
Good.
They're
Yeah.
always looking for workers and for people to help out. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So you would recommend that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Mm. And then, Johan, so now you then had some years working, get your knowledge, get your technical experience and everything together. And then when did you and why did you decide to start your own company?
That yeah, the challenge and uh, possibilities of being entrepreneur is quite nice. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's you have to have a wide variety of skills
Hmm.
of everything and to get it all together. And yeah, that excited me quite a lot. So after about 2 years of doing practical experience and so on, I started my own company
Hmm.
and started marketing and selling solar systems.
Hmm. And you did that then for how many years before you then again started to transition to another career path?
That was for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your
Mm.
biggest challenge as an entrepreneur then?
The whole business model, getting it to scale
Mm-hmm.
from one or two man operation to a proper company that's profitable. Yeah, so scaling up from a small company, one man, from being a employee of your self-employed to being a business owner. That's the
Yeah, that can be
difficult part.
challenging. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it's nice to have the freedom and, do everything yourself as an entrepreneur, but also it has a lot of responsibilities that you then
Mm,
carry
mm,
for
mm,
yourself and maybe if you have employees for others.
mm, mm.
So I can feel that. But still, I also understand that, want to be independent and try if you really can do it. So challenging and
Mm.
growing is also a
That's
big
right.
part of career choices and ways, I think. So
Yeah, and
sometimes,
I think there's a few things that will challenge you more than being an
yeah,
entrepreneur, running your own business.
yeah,
It's
I
not
guess
easy.
so. No, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine. But next to that, Johan, what was your greatest experience being, a solar entrepreneur and working in the field? What would you say was the thing you always will remember and was so rewarding that you were like, okay, it was a good choice that I made this choice. Is there
Mm, mm.
anything?
I think if you spend 2 3 weeks with hard work and planning and procurement and installation, and you finally switch on the system and you see all the power is coming from the roof, from the sun,
Hmm.
nothing from the grid. I think that's quite rewarding to know
Yeah,
that
that's
the
amazing.
house
Yeah.
was just totally independent.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
That must be cool. Yeah, and you really see what you did. So, working at a desk sometimes can be like you do things, but you don't know. And yes, yeah, I can imagine to really see what you did and installed and then switch it on and it works and you have a customer who is happy and yourself are proud, then it's really, really rewarding. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Or you see
So-
the electricity bill reduced by 50 70%. So that's also
Yeah,
just
exactly. And you're doing something for the environment. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's a win-win-win.
yeah,
It's a win-win-win. Yeah.
definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. I really can imagine that and see it right now, switching on the nice installation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Victron system's got these nice graphs. You can see how much power is coming from the grid, how much from the sun, and everything. You see
Oh,
zero from the grid, and all the power from the sun, from the
mm,
sun and the batteries. Yeah, that's quite
oh,
nice to see.
yeah. I can imagine. So that's the rewarding part, you would say, also of the residential side that you have the customer, the house, reducing bills, reducing cost, reducing CO2 and stuff.
That's right, yeah. The
Hmm.
environmental side of it, they're using clean energy, and also when the whole neighborhood's got power failures and they're the only house with lights on, and they phone you the next day.
Okay, yeah, that's never thought of that. That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So my next question would be, what would you tell young people or people who want, to start a career now, after university, after school, um, if they don't know if solar is something for them? So why would you be an ambassador for solar, for the solar industry? Why would you tell them, oh, if you're interested in a job, you're searching for a job, a career, you could choose solar because.
Mm, mm.
Mm,
I think the whole world is going to move towards solar. The coal power is going to be completely switched off, and the whole world's moving to solar power, renewable energy, and we're all going to move to electric cars. So there's huge opportunities
mm,
in transferring the whole electrical network to renewable energy. So
Hmm.
that's a huge challenge that we all need to do, and the more people that can partake and help with that, the better.
Yeah, I agree. The
Yeah,
job opportunities are huge. Like you said, you can, even if you're just interested in cars, for example, then you can build electrical cars. It's still renewable. It's the
that's right.
that's the field.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's so much to be
Batteries.
done.
Yeah.
Microgrids, batteries, energy storage, charging stations.
Mm.
Yeah, all of that.
Installations,
Yeah,
installations, installations.
yeah,
Because
sounds
if we want to reach the goals that the world and the governments are setting, then we need qualified workers. Yeah, I would
That's
say.
right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the technology is there. All the problems have been sorted out. It can be done. It's become very affordable now. The prices have dropped to
Mm,
solar
yeah,
being the cheapest form of energy production at the moment. So
yeah,
yeah,
true, true. So you would also say if they choose to go for solar, it's a job with a future and not a dead
definitely,
end. Yeah.
definitely for the next 20, 30 years, there's
Mm.
going to be so much demand. Even on LinkedIn currently, I'm getting inquiries all the time.
Oh, really?
Wanting to help them with sales and installations. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So yeah, so people should start solar. It's a broad range and innovative, and as you saw, and I think you agree, we are not stick to one route. You can do road, you can go in many directions and have a nice own way of doing it. Like you
that's right.
IT resident, then you were an employee in the field of installation, residential part, then you were an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you came to Germany, where you even used in a German solar company, where you get even more insights of a German market, how it's different here, how other things work,
Mm-hmm.
and also became a trainer because you can, I think, contribute with your knowledge and your experience.
I hope to. Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully.
sure. For 100%.
Good.
So, thank you, Johan. Is there anything you would like to add, to mention, to give the people away? I mean, they can reach out to us. They can find us on the websites, and I think if they have questions, we are of course answering them. But anything you would personally like to add?
Yeah, just get the proper education, get the proper training, get the proper experience, and don't take chances or shortcuts, and do it the right way with the right equipment and the right installation standards and things. And yeah, then you'll avoid problems for yourself and for the customers and for the solar industry, actually.
That's well said. Thank you,
Mm,
Johan. Thank you very much. For me, it was really interesting to hear, the story behind the career path. And yes, so thank you for the
yeah,
interview. I wish
thank
you
you.
a lovely day. And the Max team saying goodbye to all the audience and fans out there.
Thanks, Christine. Speak
See you
again.
soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
So, Aufzeichnung Ende.